Will Google take over gaming as we know it? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight and more. My name is Craig Chamberlin, and you're watching PCM Tech Talk Live. That's right, PCM Tech Talk Live, where we talk tech live Monday and Thursday night every weekday at 9 p.m. Eastern until 10 p.m. Eastern. Now remember, the Tech Talk Live segment is dedicated to you, my fans and loyal viewers. The show's been going on for about 2.5 months, and we've been growing at great rates. Now, I know we haven't been consistent lately, and I apologize for that, but we are going to get things rolling here again, and I'm excited about tonight's show. As you can see, we are actually broadcasting straight from YouTube now, so people can actually see right on YouTube these events in advance. Now, if you come into the show, you can actually post questions at any time at pcmtechhelp.com/YouTube in the comments section. And when you post your questions there, I will see them. And when you post your questions there, I will also do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Now remember, PCM revolves around a great little tight-knit community of tech guys who are more than happy to help you out with any tech questions you might have. You can see them at the community at pcmtechhelp.com/community. And today's show is about gaming. So Google has been getting into the gaming market. They just announced recently they're going to drop Google Plus from their gaming repertoire. So in other words, Google Plus isn't going to have Google Plus Games anymore. Now, as you guys may or may not know, Google Plus is a community social media website that's basically established by Google. And the question is, are they going to be able to integrate gaming with this somehow? Well, Google announced recently at their big event, the Google I/O, that they're going to be making some amazing strides in mobile gaming, and Google Plus is going to be a huge part of it, just not Google Plus Games as we know it. Google Plus Games, as it's known right now, will end in June. June? I think it's June or July. And when they actually do close that out, they're going to be slowly integrating this new Google Plus gaming environment that allows for gaming to take place across all of your mobile devices, any Android device, mind you, and you'll be able to play seamlessly together. In other words, you can play on your iPad and on somebody's iPhone, and you can even put them right next to each other and actually be able to experience the same game within multiple devices and multiple platforms. The potential of this is quite astounding. They can actually create an environment where you can actually play a game together no matter what device or Android system that your friends or you may have. So Google has kind of come up with this great idea that gaming is going to be this new platform in which it's universal and anybody who has their devices can use it. Not a terrible idea, considering Apple actually has become one of the primary gaming systems with all their iOS devices. They're actually the top grossing in mobile gaming, not Game Boy. So Android's going to tap into that market heavily with their new announcement of the Google Games, or the Android Games market, and they're going to be pushing gaming heavily in the upcoming year. So for those of you who are excited about gaming for mobile devices, keep your eyes open on Android, because they're going to be making some awesome moves. Now, whether they can take over gaming or not, this all started with an article, which, by the way, all the articles discussed in PCM Tech Talk Live are in PCM Tech Talk Live magazine, right on Flipboard. You can find these magazines at the social network, which is any of the social networks which you can follow me on, or at the community page, pcmtechhelp.com/community. The magazine's free. It's through Flipboard, which is on Apple, iOS, and Android devices. And Flipboard has all of the articles that we discuss in the show right in the magazine. And in one of these articles in particular, they were trying to say that Google could take over gaming as we know it. Well, unfortunately, mobile devices don't really have the hardware to take over gaming as we know it, nor do they have the full potential, or probably will never have the full potential, to tap into hardcore gamers who demand a much, much more hardware-intensive system. That being said, there also is no way to actually replace the mouse and keyboard for gaming, especially when it comes to first-person shooters. Now, they may be able to have some competition in other markets, such as real-time strategies or puzzles, but when it comes to actual hardcore gaming, I don't see Google being able to touch it anytime soon. So those are my thoughts on Google's move into gaming. Now remember, at any time during the show, post your comments right on YouTube, PCMTTL.com/YouTube, because I like to engage the community on all of these topics. Where do you think everything is heading in the gaming market? Do you think Google actually stands a chance against traditional gaming, or are they just in a completely different market than actual traditional gaming, like I do? Let's see what's going on in the community. It looks like things are going well. Looks like them retarded horses couldn't make it today. He said he wouldn't be able to watch it, so he's probably going to be too tired. Steve Wheeler, welcome back to the show. Good to have you with us, Steve. Spec Yes says, what's up, folks? Looks I'm here. What's good, Matt? Looks like Matthew Moore is here as well. Matthew Moore has a great YouTube channel. You can check him out. He's right in the comments section. Click on his name. Check out his YouTube channel. He puts up some great videos. Highly recommend subscribing. Spec Yes says, what's up, folks? I already said it. Lawrence Eckert says, woohoo! I'm here and the comments are working. Awesome, Lawrence. I'm glad the comments are working for you. You guys may have noticed I did drop 720p. As it turns out, my hardware cannot process 720p on the fly. So until I can get a studio desktop upgraded, I cannot actually stream in full 720p. Matthew Moore says, am I the only person here? No, you're not, Matthew. There's lots of people here. Tom Proke says, sup, peeps? Hey, Tom. How's it going? J. Ray says, hi. Welcome back, J. Ray. Matthew Moore says, I thought I was all alone here for a second. Compton, welcome back, Compton Sue, and it's good to have all of you guys back. Compton says, the streaming is going well tonight. I'm glad to hear that. Ryan Yodi Videos says, what's he talking about right now? Right now, which could have been a couple minutes ago, looks like it was a couple minutes ago, I was talking about gaming for Google and whether or not Google could take over gaming as we know it. This particular individual on the article argued that they could easily take over the market. I don't see them being able to actually compete on the level of market for any kind of hardcore gamer out there. See, consoles do offer up a lot of competitive edge when it comes to developer support and system resources and basically financial dedication to a product. Most mobile platforms right now are drive-by gaming platforms. The games aren't really that deep, don't really possess that many characteristics, and they don't really offer the cinematic experience that you get out of a console or PC game right now. PC, of course, has the best, but of course it's the most expensive as well. Now, whether mobile will be able to withstand that kind of development in the future will remain to be seen. But as of right now, pretty much every game I've played on the mobile device, most of them have been quite shallow and not been able to deliver on what a lot of gamers are looking for. So I'll see how it goes. It looks like Beat Hunter's back. Welcome back, Beat. Good to have you with us. He says, what's up, everybody? Awesome. It looks like Matthew Moore says, thanks for the plug, Craig. Always appreciate it. No problem, Matt. Ryan says, oh, yeah, I already said. Spec Yes says, the NVIDIA Shield is, what is it? The Steam box, and the Steam box is the future. What he's referring to here is the NVIDIA Shield project, which is pretty much it's a mobile platform. I have an article on it actually in today's video. And also the Steam box is a actual mobile PC that will be able to plug into a standard computer, standard television, and be able to play PC games as if they are a console. I happen to agree with Spec Yes on this one as well, because the mobile Steam box offers more, in my opinion, to the average gamer than a mobile device like Android. Yes, it was impressive that Android could place multiple devices next to each other. Yes, it was impressive that these devices could actually seamlessly pass information between each other on the screen. But that doesn't really seem like much in comparison to what the Steam box can do, and that's give you full PC experiences right on your desktop computer, right on your television, which would be awesome. So check out NVIDIA Shield if you're looking into it as well. It's pretty awesome. Beat Hunter says, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Beat. Jay says, Google will take over the world next, or just EA. I don't think EA really stands much of a chance. The thing with Google is that they've got such a positive marketing presence, and everybody just loves them so much that, yes, I think they could take over the world. We'd be like, it'll be run better because we love Google. Yes, yes. Yes, they've got such a solid presence in every aspect of our lives that we've kind of almost just, yes, take my information, Google, do with it what you will. I'm sure you'll do it for the greater good. Have you guys ever seen Hot Fuzz? The greater good. Lawrence Eckert says, I'm not sure if you knew this, Craig, but I found this out today. But did you know if you search for specific holiday date or movie release dates on Google search, you can send the knowledge graph info. Send the knowledge graph info. I did not know that, Spec. Yes, very interesting. Very interesting. No, Lawrence. Very interesting, Lawrence. Maybe you should make a video on that one. Lawrence is one of the individuals who submits videos to the PCM Tech Help Show regularly. And if you like to help people out and want to put some tutorials together, feel free to submit them to the show where I will help you grow your presence on the web. And you can submit them right at pcmtechhelp.com/submit content. I will work with you directly on helping to develop your content into something more professional. And I'll also help you grow your product. And in the long run, I think it'll help you grow significantly faster, because that's what we're all about here, helping each other out. Tom Wallace says, the average user needs to realize that Google is more than a search engine in order for the other services to be accepted by the masses. Very true. Ryan Yodi Video says, you got it. I must have got your name right, Ryan. Spec Yes says, I agree with Tom Walla. I think he's right. And there has to be better Android phones for Google to succeed in the mobile gaming area. I agree as well. I just don't think the development is there. But they are moving in the right direction, right? They want to create a good developer experience for developers, which is what you need to do if you're going to take gaming seriously. And they have been taking seriously. Now, the Project Shield, which was discussed briefly in the show, is this cool little controller that actually allows you to play PC games on your television. And it also allows you to play them on a little screen right on the controller as well. It kind of opens up the platform to all kinds of awesome experiences for gaming straight through a multimedia device, which is a mobile device, but it actually broadcasts it to your actual television over wireless. Very, very awesome technology for gaming, especially on the PC platform. It is on pre-sale right now for $349, which is a pretty good deal for what you're getting. You can check those out on pretty much anywhere. It looks like GameStop, Newegg, Micro Center, and Canada Computers. That's an interesting name for it. And it is a cool little device. They've been working on it for quite some time over there at NVIDIA, and I wonder if it'll catch on in the mainstream, because $350 is kind of a hefty price tag, but it really depends on how seamless of an experience it gives you, which would be pretty awesome. And let's go ahead and turn to our good friend Lawrence Eckert on sharing more information on the Project Shield platform, because I'm not as well versed into it. I just thought I'd let everybody know it has gone on pre-sale, and it does look really awesome. So Lawrence, go ahead and throw some really cool facts about it, and I'd like to see what they're going to be pushing out next on this NVIDIA Project Shield. Google it. It's a cool name. Very cool name, especially since Shield was in the Avengers. Everybody loves Avengers, I hope. Xbox 720. Interesting news in Xbox 720. Apparently there's prototype secrets leaked, which I'd like to talk about these secrets and these rumors, because tomorrow is the big day. It's Xbox Day. May 21st, as we've been talking about in the show, is the day that Microsoft finally announces what's going to be in the Xbox 720. We don't know yet. And hopefully we will know by the end of the day tomorrow everything that is included in the Xbox 720. But supposedly these secrets have revealed that it's going to have built-in TV, possibly, DVR, possibly, streaming, augmented reality, and more. So really all this article does is say it could have everything. Well, of course it could have everything. All we're really concerned about is whether the Xbox 720 is going to force us to be online so that we can play our console games, which of course we still think would be quite ridiculous. As much as I like online media as much as the next guy, which I use an Apple TV almost religiously, I don't like the idea of my games being required to have a login on a console. I don't mind having a login on PC if it's an MMO, in other words, a game that requires an internet connection, but the idea of playing a single-player game without an internet connection not being possible, not a comforting thought for me or anybody else. Now, Xbox has tried to put this rumor to bed, but we won't know for sure until tomorrow, but it does sound like they're moving in the direction of it not happening. But of course, these secret leaks revealed really only tell us that Microsoft is going to try to turn the Xbox into two things, and I happen to agree with them. It's going to be a media center, in other words, much like the Apple TV or the Google TV, and it's also going to be a gaming console that's very, very tightly knit into on-demand and internet gaming. In other words, they're going to try to push the market into the idea of eventually going to digital media instead of physical media. While they may not actually require us to make that shift in this console generation, I do know it's coming, because there is just way too much money in not giving you digital media and forcing you to log in. It eliminates the problems of piracy. I know a lot of news on gaming tonight, but I am excited about the Xbox announcement tomorrow, so we'll see how that all turns out coming up. Tom Wallace says, there's got to be better Android phones. He says, Tom Proke says, I bought a D2 pad with Android 4.1.1. Not too bad for a $79 tablet. Tom had recommended this tablet. So for those of you looking for an inexpensive Android tablet, this had solid reviews, very solid reviews. You can get this D2 pad with Android 4.1.1 for only $79. I believe he got it on Amazon. And if you guys are going to buy something from Amazon, make sure you ask me for my assistance because we are officially Amazon affiliates here, and I'd love to help sell you something directly through Amazon. It will help the show grow. Lawrence Eckert says, Craig, 41 new features for Google+. What are they? They're only announced like 5. The 41 new features aren't really 41 new features on Google+. Google+ has made some astounding improvements to its user interface, but really all the 41 features are just a bunch of tiny features in about 5 overall main feature increases to Google+. Personally, I think they're all moves in the right direction, but I'm not as religiously tied to the old Google+ format as most, and not to mention I'm a hardcore advocate of Google+ further migrating its service into other areas of their services. Of course, Google Music was one of the first big announcements for them. They're going to be doing a Spotify-style media center device streaming thing, but now they're going to charge $10 for it out of the box from what I understand per month. Google Plus, of course, updated its user interface, which was a big new feature change that everybody freaked out about. I think it's good because it actually gives us more content, which they would actually be tightly integrated with Google Plus Chat. And by tightly integrated, I mean completely demolish Google Chat, and they've actually made Google Plus Hangouts the official gateway for all of their chat services. So they're basically migrating any form of chat service directly into Google Plus Hangouts now. They also added a quite awesome, with Auto Awesome built in, picture editor and updater. So when you actually take a number of photos and you have them auto-uploaded to your Google Plus profile, it will actually go in there and scan all of those photos and actually give you what it thinks are your best photos. It's not going to delete your old ones, but it'll say, are these your best photos? And then it'll actually let you go in and do a awesome kind of editing and updating, much like Instagram, but a lot more in detail, and it also allows you to do a lot more customizations, like adding little masks and costumes and stuff to your photographs as well. Now that's just off the top of my head. There's of course a number of updates on there as well, but the big one was a UI change. It's one that kind of scared a lot of people off, but we'll see how it goes. Beat Hunter says, has anyone seen the update for Google Play Music? And what do you think of it? Just curious. I think that they will hit the market pretty solid on the music front. I think it's a mistake going into Google Play Music with having a fee, though. I think they should start out with it being free, much like every other service has done it, like Pandora and Spotify. Apple's going to be trying to get into the music market for radio as well up here in the fall. I think they're going to try to announce something. So really, this is an attempt for Google to get into this market because it's a very, very volatile and a very profitable market for advertising. So it doesn't surprise me that they're doing it, but I have no formal opinions on the service yet because I refuse to pay for any kind of mobile music service, ever. Well, I'll pay for music, but not mobile music services. Not yet. Well, I don't know. I paid for Pandora Pro for a little while. That was pretty awesome. I like Pandora. Lawrence Eckert says, you're messing up both me and Spec. Yes, you keep mixing us up. Sorry about that, Lawrence. My bad. Oh, I like this. I like J-Ray's idea. Let's all buy a Sega and put a 5.1 output jack on it. Tape in an HDMI mini Android PC, and you have an Android Sega Genesis. Genius. Absolutely genius. Lawrence Eckert says, in I.O., Google I.O. was pretty boring this year. The most exciting thing was the Google Plus announcements. No new phone, software, or anything except maps. Very true. There wasn't a whole lot of updates other than Google Plus. But Google Plus is where Google's banking a lot of their future on because social media really is becoming the mainstream everything. It's where people live. People live on social media. I mean, that's where they spend all of their time. And so Google's been putting a huge investment of time and energy and development into making Google Plus the centric service for all of their other services. So maybe that wasn't an accident. Maybe they're really trying to push everybody into Google Plus because they know it's going to be the future of Google's development engine. I think that's probably a good move on their part. Only time will tell, but I think they've made some good changes. Tom Wall says, you'll know later on tonight. Just check with The Verge or Tech Meme. I don't remember what we were talking about, Tom. That was like 2 minutes ago. Please remind me. Tom Wallace says, Illinois used to be a part of Amazon affiliates. Then the politicians got involved. Of course they did. It's their job to make sure you guys don't keep your jobs. Yeah, I said that right. I had to think about it for a second. It is their jobs to make sure you don't keep your jobs. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on the Xbox 720 rumors because we're going to find out tomorrow what of the rumors are true and which ones aren't. And you're going to see me go, no! Or I'll do the Star Wars, no! When they actually announce that it's going to be internet only, which I'm kind of optimistic that's not going to happen. But we're going to see. Time will tell, and we will find out tomorrow. And I'm just as excited about it. Now here's a nice gimmicky update. Samsung has released a Chromebook Pixel update. And they're beating out with this new Samsung screen the Chromebook Pixel and Retina MacBook with a high-res laptop display. Now, I think the only good thing about this laptop display is that it consumes 30% less power than its counterparts. But it is a 13.3-inch QHD 3200 by 1800 panel with 276 pixels per inch PPI and offers greater pixel densities than Apple's Retina MacBook Pro. Now, one thing I find odd about these gimmicky pushes with new displays is that the whole purpose of a Retina display was so that they could create a display that your Retina really can't see any better of. So when you're creating something called a Retina display at a certain resolution, because the human eye can only see so much color and so many dots per inch or pixels per inch, then you're kind of getting into what's called a redundant framework. Let's create even better screens, they'll say. Let's create ones with better contrast ratios, which is really, by the way, the only benefit you can add. And with more pixels, more pixels. But more pixels don't mean anything if your eye can't see them. This is kind of funny because the resolution on this panel is now officially as good as, or almost as good as, 4K televisions. But have you heard that 4K televisions only have an added benefit when you get above 50-inch screens? That's right, 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p, is really as good as your eye can see on most screens smaller than, I think, like 30 inches. And this is for a 13.3-inch screen. So yes, while they may have released a much higher resolution screen, I don't fully understand why. I don't think there's much benefit at this point. I think visual technology and screen technology has almost peaked. And I think it will peak when OLED finally hits the market in full and you get full contrast ratios, which are your full blacks and full whites, instead of the actual issue of pixels. It's not going to be the problem. Pixels are not going to be the problem because OLEDs are capable of displaying just about anything you can throw at it. Very awesome technology. Tom Wall says, oh, the new Xbox info. He says we should know on later tonight with The Verge or Tech Meme. Interesting. So we'll know tonight even. Very exciting. So Samsung has officially released a new screen, but do not buy into this gimmick of things being better just because they have more pixels. It doesn't always mean that they're better. Have you guys bought technology solely on the words, the names? Usually not a good idea just because something says HD. I remember now it's like we have HD radio and we have HD photos and we have HD sunglasses. We got HD everything now. So, there's a lot of money to be made in the name. Now this is interesting. YouTube turns 8. And there's 100 hours of video uploaded every minute. Every minute of every day. Only 8 years old. YouTube is only 8 years old. I cannot believe that. 8 years old. And there's 100 hours of video uploaded every minute. What does this mean? This means that YouTube has quite obviously become the central content hub for video in the world. I mean, other than the niche markets that exist outside like movie theaters and high production and these really, really high production studios, all video content is being shared almost all on a single service. That is a lot of content. Granted, this just in, about 99.9 hours of that content is completely useless and not worth our time. But it is being uploaded. Lots and lots of content is being pushed into YouTube, and yes, this is a good sign for the future of YouTube, who has just announced subscription-based channels, which will actually expand their content market even further. And not to mention, the next generation, they're not watching television. They're watching YouTube. That's what they're watching. Everybody loves YouTube right now. It's the big thing. It's the next big thing right now on YouTube. So make sure you're paying extra attention to what's going on there on YouTube, because just ask any kid under the age of 20 or even 25 where they get all their entertainment from. Most of them now get it off the internet. Many of them off of YouTube. Lawrence Eckert says, by the way, I will work on the remake of my Google video that got possessed. Lawrence Eckert submitted a video that apparently got possessed. I didn't get to see that possessed video, but it was kind of interesting. But he put together a cool video of Google Hangout Easter eggs, which was a very cool addition to the show. So I'm excited about him finishing that one up so I can actually publish it for you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to Lawrence, make sure you do, because he's another good content provider at the community. And if you haven't joined the community yet, there's over 380 members there already in 2.5 short months. You can join it at PCMTTL.com/community. It is a Google Plus community. There's tons of free downloads. There's tons of guys there ready to help you with any of the questions you might have. I hang out there outside the show. It's really where we all kind of hang out outside the show. And it's really a fun place to be if you're interested in technology at all. So make sure you check that out. In more concerning privacy and security news that some of you may or may not care about, apparently there's a facial recognition software package that can be purchased by just about any retail store company for about $40. It is called Cara. C-A-R-A. This facial recognition software can be installed into your security system, and your security system can be an over-the-counter webcam. And it's able to identify not only you, your age, and your height, and gender. It will actually, from 25 feet away by the way, it will actually also be able to monitor your behavior. So stores can now start actually utilizing facial recognition software to target advertising. So they can see what you're doing, who you are, how old you are, whether you're male or female, and then they could theoretically actually broadcast an ad where you're standing with whatever they think you'll be interested in. Now this, of course, is breaching on Minority Report and Mass Effect and pretty much any other sci-fi movie that's came out in the past 15 years, and it's actually kind of coming true. The software is finally becoming cost-effective enough for them to be able to do data mining on the average person who walks through their door so they can make better advertising decisions right within the store. One store in particular is taking full advantage of this. It's Reebok on 5th Avenue in New York, and we're currently working on an advertising targeted model for people who walk in the door through facial recognition. Now, granted, it doesn't really collect any kind of data or information on you personally, and it doesn't have access to any databases so it can identify who you are and what your interests are, but that's just for now. Just wait till they get that information from Google, or from the next time they try to pass CISPA and it actually gets passed. Who knows? But it is out there. The technology is out there, and it's inexpensive, and a lot of people will actually be checking that out. J-Ray says, will YouTube ever run out of space? Psh, probably not. They're throwing new hard drives on that probably every single day. Spec Yes says, I got to get going, so no post-show hangout tonight. However, you guys could start one. And please remember that he who starts the hangout is he who moderates it. Good night, folks. Spec Yes, thank you for coming out tonight. And that is a good reminder that if you are part of the community, you can go to PCMTechHelp.com/community at Google+, and they have post-show hangouts. The hangouts are basically Google Plus Hangouts, and everybody kind of talks about what we talked about and whatever they want to talk about right after the show. It's a very cool place for a bunch of nerds to get together, and we are a bunch of nerds, in a good way. Nerds! Awesome. Beat Hunter says, that's what I was thinking as well. For YouTube running out of space, I don't think that's ever going to be a problem. Tom Proke says, why is this show PCMTTL 34? I don't know. Is it not supposed to be episode 34? I thought it was. Maybe it's supposed to be 33. I guess we'll find out here in a second. We're going to find out here very soon. Yeah, it's episode 54. We had 53 last week, Tom. It was a tragedy. But we did have an episode last week. It was quite entertaining, actually, to say the least. We had some technical difficulties, and by some, I mean a ton. And so let's shoot this out real quick to all of the social networks again, say that we're broadcasting now. And for those of you who are watching this show, if at any time you get a chance, make sure you share this show while it's broadcasting to all of your social networks, and we'll see how many people we can get in here. We'll see how many people we can capture in our net of nerddom. And it's going to be a good time all around, because that's what we do here. We capture people in our nerddom, or nerdiness. So let's see what we got here. Back to the Future. Very good point, J. Ray. Lawrence Eckert says, oh, I say it got possessed because it didn't show the video and it started flickering. So I did what anybody should do when that happens. I called a priest. That wasn't a bad idea. That's a new kind of possession, apparently. Computer possession. JXSHS Tutorials, welcome back. Hey, Craig. Would opening a DNS server increase your internet speed? Why or why not? Wow. It's a technical question. I would say no, but this is more like a matter of opinion than it is a verified fact. I don't think that your domain name server will actually increase your internet speed even if it is opened. I think it may give you more reliable connection because you're going to actually have a better connection with your actual DNS, but I can't really see it causing any kind of formal increase in your speed. Really, the only way to increase your internet speed is to actually purchase more bandwidth or go with an internet service provider who provides more bandwidth as an option. I haven't really seen to this date, and I could be wrong, any trick outside of that will actually give you a significant increase in your internet speed, personally. J. Ray K said, ever thought about Back to the Future Part 2 when they went to 2015? We're so close, but they're so far off. I know, and the Cubs won the World Series. And we still don't have flying cars or hoverboards. This is just a tragedy. An absolute tragedy. How are we supposed to survive the next 10 years without hoverboards? I mean, how can we escape our modern day biffs without such technology? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out myself. But we will see. We will strive to move on. We will strive to move on and maintain our progression throughout the years. We will. We will live to play another day. Now, this technology was announced about a month ago. We talked about it on the show. Lenovo has a Horizon PC, coffee table size PC for gaming that comes with a lot of stuff. It's first of all a Windows 8 platform, so it comes with Windows 8 and it's touchscreen, but it's actually one you set on a table or a coffee table, and you can actually play games on it, like the Lenovo version of Monopoly, or there's an air hockey, or there's a number of other games you can actually play on this 27-inch tabletop PC. And it is a full PC. It's about that thick, I would say, and it's actually got USB ports and all that. It's a big tablet, right? Biggest problem, it's $1,800. But it is kind of a cool idea for the future of mobile gaming. Having all this stuff integrated into your household things is actually going to become very standardized over the next coming years, especially with OLED. I've talked about those on the show. Since they can be made out of a transparent material, a plasticky transparent material, you can actually have picture frames that are a full TV in HD, and it'll actually show your wall behind it when it's off, that kind of stuff. And also, this kind of technology, yet while it may be not cost effective now, would be kind of cool to have a real coffee table with a built-in touchscreen tablet and all that. So you and your buddies could all like play a game, or you and your family members could all play a board game or something right on the tablet on your coffee table. Would I ever pay $1,800 for it personally? No, absolutely not. But it just started. This is the first one of probably many that are going to be coming out in the future, and it is kind of a pioneering of a unique idea in the mobile market. Because it's not mobile, I guess, but I guess it's a pioneering of technology in the touchscreen market. Because nobody would have really thought about something that's being practical at all without touchscreen being there as a reliable piece of technology. Tom Wallace says, I got my router set to Google's DNS. And Tom Wallace, did you actually get better internet speeds or just a more reliable internet connection when you switched over to the DNS for Google? I would probably think it would be just a more reliable connection than it would be faster speeds. Tom Proke says, yeah, J. Ray, that's what I mean. Not sure. Lawrence Eckert says, I have a video to limit bandwidth reserve to speed up internet speed. No need to purchase. Nice try, Craig. Well, that's for built into Windows 8. right? So you're actually releasing a limit that was built into the Windows operating system. But if you don't have Windows 8, that limit's typically not set there. So you're not actually talking about increasing internet speed. You're talking about removing a built-in internet bandwidth cap, which again does not increase your internet speed. It actually allows you to have the proper amount of internet speed you should have had to begin with. And I think that's only for select systems on the Windows 8 operating system. I don't think they all come with that cap built in. It just depends on the version and release you have. At least I hope so, because that would not be a good thing. We wouldn't be happy with that being there as a permanent solution or permanent move. Whew. Permanent edition. Why would they even do that? Why would they even think about it? So the Lenovo Horizon PC is the tabletop screen television game. Would you ever buy something like this? Let's say, okay, take the price out. Take the $1,800 price out of this. I'm asking my community, would you ever buy one of these? And what price would you say would be, yeah, I'd probably buy that. You know, that'd be kind of cool to have when the family's all getting together and all that. And, you know, we could all play it together. Like, ha, 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 I love my Lenovo Horizon. We're so happy. That kind of thing. And it could play like slideshows of the family, pictures on it and all that. Built into a coffee table would be awesome. This one's not built in. It's just a tabletop. So, Stephen King has shunned the written word. No. Incorrect. Rewind. Stephen King has shunned the digital word. That's right. He has decided that he's not going to release his upcoming book in ebook form. I think this is a terrible idea. I don't understand his logic here. He says, well, I'm committed to the written word. So my book will initially be released in the written word, which is ironic because they had actually mentioned in this exact same article that he was one who kind of pioneered the digital book like 8 years ago with releasing a book exclusively in digital first. So I don't know if that was the whole story behind it or not, but I don't think it's a good idea to produce any written product without two different forms. They're two different markets, Mr. King. Two different markets. The ebook market and the physical book market are just two different markets of people. I like ebooks. My wife likes regular books, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people like the physical paper, and sometimes I do too. But there's two markets for it. Why would you instantly alienate a whole section of your fan base just because you feel that the written word is the best way to read it? But I guess you are the artist. It is your work. I just think it's unfortunate that a lot of your fans are not going to be able to read it until it comes out on digital, or they go out and buy it in the physical form. Well, if they're truly fans, they will buy it in the form I wish them to buy it in because I am Stephen King. Which is actually probably true. So, never mind. Let's see what we got going on in the community here. Connecting to a DNS, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Lawrence Eckert says, the same method works with 7. Good news. Beat Hunter says, connecting to a DNS service such as OpenDNS can increase searching speeds and response. OpenDNS.com, benefits, solutions, premium DNS benefits. Searching speeds and response. I don't know. I'm just not fully buying it. I want proof. Tom Wallace says, more reliable connection except when Comcast decides to go down. That's what I would expect. JXSHS Tutorial says, awesome specs, Craig. Intel i7 3770K CPU, Asus NVIDIA GeForce GTX 690 graphics card, Asus Sabertooth TZ77 motherboard, Corsair 16GB memory, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Is that your system? That's awesome, JXSHS Toots. What can I call you other than that? Compton Sue says, if you use OpenDNS, you can be more secure. Can't get the redirect. Security, that's different. Security, I could see too with the OpenDNS. Not a bad idea there too. Everybody likes security, except for when it's inconvenient. Don't you know that? That's how it works. Apple. Yes, Apple. Oh, news about Apple. I like my iPad. I like my iPhone. I do. But they're still talking about this Apple iWatch. Don't get me wrong. I am all about the iWatch. Maybe. I want to see it, okay? But people just will not stop talking about this iWatch as if it's going to be the next big thing. And it may be. I don't know. It could be. But apparently they're reportedly testing a 1.5-inch screen. for the Apple iWatch. And it's just all these rumors and all this stuff floating around out here. It's almost like, well, did these guys saturate the market so badly with rumors that it's almost like you just can't even be excited about it anymore if you have your finger on the pulse. You're like, yes, it's going to be a digital watch. Yes, it's going to be cool probably. Yes. All right, 1.5-inch screen. I guess I could deal with that. That's still kind of big. I would have rather had it maybe a little smaller, maybe an inch. 1.5 inches seems kind of large. Okay, cool. Proof, please. I want proof. I want to see an iWatch. I'm tired of all this talk. I'm tired of all the rumors. They get exhausting. That's why I can't wait till tomorrow, May 21st, when we find out what's actually going to be in the new Xbox. I'm tired of rumors. I'm tired of people asking these questions and me not being able to answer them. I'm like, I don't know. The iWatch could be a whole iPhone duct taped to your wrist for all I know. Siri, why did I pay $4,000 for this? Ding, because you're a dumbass. Oh. That makes sense. Thank you, Siri. I didn't know that. Interesting. Beat Hunter says, squid catching for Windows is amazing for web caching and might increase browsing speed within your home network. Yes, caching increases the browser experience. But increasing browser speeds isn't technically internet speeds. But I do agree that it does increase your browsing experience. And so if the DNS thing does increase your search experience, then I guess technically it increases your internet speeds. But in no way does it actually increase your overall bandwidth. It just decreases the requirements. For those of you who don't know what internet caching is, your browser stores local copies of certain data on a website. It could store local copies of images, of text, of code, of basically any kind of data, all right? If you go to a website one time, it keeps those certain elements cached. In other words, stored locally in your drive. So that the next time you go to that page, or if you go to a different page with those same pictures on it, it'll load those instantly off of your local drive instead of re-downloading them from the internet. So yes, technically, it does increase your internet speed, but really it just increases load times because it doesn't have to download as much stuff. So, squid caching is recommended by Beat Hunter. It's not a scam. Caching does work, and so squid caching may actually be worth looking into. Philcraft666. Oh, Mark of the Beast. Is it just my screen, Cruz? Or Cruz? Am I Cruz? I'll take that name. Or a bit blurry. If I'm blurry, try clicking that little cog in the bottom right corner of your video feed, and then choosing 480p. Which should be what it's broadcasting in. Sadly, we're not in 720p, but we are what we are. Tom Wallace said, I think that the community should have input when Craig decides to build his streaming rig. That would be awesome. You know what else would be awesome? The community could have input on helping pay for my streaming rig. Please give me monies. Yes, the show does not generate enough revenue for a streaming rig just yet, but we are growing. And things take time, especially good things take real time. And I'm more than happy to wait, guys. It's going to be awesome when we get there. But it's been fun. It's been fun having things keep growing and going, especially with the community. 380 members. We've almost had 80 members in a week on there. And I think I'm up to like 5,000 people circling me on Google+. I love Google+. It's awesome. I can call JXSHS Toots Josh's Tutorials. I will be more than happy to say that. Josh's Tutorial says, you can call me Josh's Tutorials. Awesome. Hey, Craig, what type of graphics card would you recommend for gaming under $100? Pretty hard decision. I don't have a specific gaming card at this moment. I want you to post this question at the community so I can look at it in more detail. I want to know what your card slot is, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, and then I'm going to actually take a look at what our graphics cards options are on newegg.com or amazon.com. That's usually where I look for any kind of recommendation. I usually base that recommendation on reviews. I read reviews. And if you're smart, you'll read reviews as well, because these reviews are from people who are actually using the product, and you actually find people who are using it playing the exact same games that you want to play. So, Josh, at Josh's Tutorials, which apparently might have a channel for everybody to subscribe to, make sure you post this question at the community page, pcmtechhelp.com/community, and when you do, make sure you tell me what games you want to be able to play on it, because that is a big factor in choosing a graphics card. Remember, everybody who's watching this show right now, or maybe listening to it, or however you may be experiencing it, you can ask any question you like at the community or on YouTube, PCMTTL.com/YouTube. Anything goes. There are no dumb questions. And if you ask these questions, I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. And if I cannot answer them, I will shift you to the community where there's over 380 people, and a lot of them are smarter than I am. And it's an exciting thing to bring so many smart people together in one place. That's at PCMTTL.com/community. Tom Wallace says, just put the Amazon affiliate link on Google Plus community page. The problem is that's not a single link, Tom Walla. I have to create custom links for each product. It's unfortunate. Xbox Nissan says, hey, Craig, was PlayStation PS4 teaser just before the unveil of Xbox a strategy for Sony? Of course it was. Sony is going to try to take the heat or the excitement off of the Xbox 720 all that they can. Now, there are some things going positively for the PS4, a lot of things going positively for the PS4 right now. Namely, one, that we know for a fact it's not going to require an internet connection. Number two, that it's moving back to the x86 architecture, which means developers are going to actually have fun writing programs for it again. Thank goodness. Which means that we're actually going to have decent developer support on the new PlayStation. Number three is that they're actually moving heavily into the internet-based services. So they're finally going to, in my opinion, perfect the PlayStation Network. Number four, I think they're going to aim to make it a more cost-effective solution rather than on the PlayStation 3 where it came out at like $500-$600. They're aiming for more of a $300 to $400 price tag out of the box. All of that being put together, I think it makes PlayStation 4 a very viable solution or very viable choice at the end of this year. Now, the Xbox 720, of course, is going to be awesome as well, but the Xbox 720 doesn't support the previous architecture of the Xbox 360, from what we understand, so the only way they can make that available, the legacy games available on the 360, is to actually redo the architecture. But then again, I guess that's the same on the PlayStation 4. Why do they hate us? Why do they make us buy our games more than once? Oh, that's right, they like our money. We hate you guys. We like your money. We just want your monies. That's all. That's all we want, people. LG is going to demo their bendable screen this week. This week. Their bendable smartphone screen that was supposed to, there's one of them supposed to come out at the end of this year. By the end of this year, LG announced they're going to release a smartphone with a bendable screen on it, probably folded over the edge of one of the devices. But they are going to unveil this week a bendable screen at the Information Display's annual exhibition, Society for Information Display. And basically it's a big display convention, which sounds interesting. It's a big display. Sounds interesting. I don't know if, I think it'd be kind of a fun thing to go to, but, you know, there's a lot to see. Anyways, LG is going to demo a bendable screen, and yes, it looks pretty awesome. I'm excited about OLED technology, everybody. I won't shut up about it. As you guys know, if you've watched this show before, I'm big on these OLED screens that can bend and fold and roll up and hit with a hammer and they don't break because they have a full contrast ratio, true blacks and true whites. They have like a seventh of the power consumption. They don't require a backlight. They are bendable, obviously. They're durable. They can be made out of a plasticky material. And they're really going to peak technology. I mean, it's going to peak the visual technology. Not going to be much other than features that they're going to be able to add. So I'm excited about seeing this display in action, and we're probably going to see these displays by the end of this year in smartphones, and I'm always excited about things that are like science fiction-y coming to reality. I always get excited about things like that, and I think you should too. New York Times CEO calls digital pay model most successful decision in years. New York Times went up against a bunch of harassment and negative media by the mainstream media by taking their entire New York Times platform digital. Okay? But I mean, they still had the paper copy, but they went fully digital, allowing people to subscribe and hybrid subscribe their services through the internet as well as traditional models. Well, of course, traditional television gave them all kinds of crap for it because it basically means that they're going to be deceased or at the end of their game, because if internet takes over traditional media on the paper front, obviously it's going to take over on all other fronts. Well, good for New York Times. This actually turned out to be one of the most profitable decisions they have ever made, and I happen to think that it was smart of them to embrace the technology rather than reject it, and it took all kinds of time to get these companies like Hulu and ABC and NBC finally on board with the internet as being taken seriously for digital media, news, and anything else. And they still don't fully take it seriously. Oh, those kids on their YouTube. Those silly kids on their YouTube. Silly kids. That's a fad. That's going to go away. Good times. Good times. We're living in good times, everybody. Very good times. So what do you guys think about traditional media? Do you think it's dead? I think it's dead. I think it's dead or dying off. It's going away. It's not dead yet, of course. Too many old dogs. Hard to teach them new tricks. But this generation, our generation, is a hybrid. We'll watch television and streaming media. Our next generation, they're like, what's television? The commercials. You have to watch the commercials? What if you want to watch exactly what you want to watch? You've got to be there at a certain time, or you have to record it? And that's weird. So I can't just go on as soon as it's published and watch it? This generation is wanting nothing to do with that. They already don't want nothing to do that. So America, we are being hacked by China. Of course, we're being hacked by China. Hackers from China resume attacks on U.S. targets. 3 months after hackers working for a cyber unit of China's People Liberation Army went silent amid evidence that they had stolen data from scores of American companies and government agencies, they appear to have resumed their attacks. Excuse me. I did a video about a week ago on what I called the hacking crisis. Now, the hacking crisis was the result will be, and it's not like it's going to be the end of the world. I call it a hacking crisis. It's going to be a problem. Companies have stopped investing heavily in cybersecurity and have started investing heavily in convenience because we as consumers have become apathetic to our security. As a result, since the companies have failed to actually even bother with security or top-level security in a lot of ways, this information has become vulnerable to a number of attackers, including foreign countries like China, or it could even be domestic attackers right here in America. So this is going to be an ongoing issue over the next 5 to 10 years, and something bad is going to have to happen information-wise, like really bad, before, of course, we're woken up and we realize that our information makes us vulnerable. And so this is going to keep happening. Attacks from China, attacks domestically. Only thing you can do is take common sense precautions to make sure that your information is as secure as you can make it, and there are no guarantees because you're on the internet. No such thing as privacy. Let's make that perfectly clear. But make sure you're at least protecting your finances. Don't have a debit card that's also a credit card at all. Don't do it. Don't have any kind of credit processing card that can pull money directly out of your checking account. Have something like a prepaid card that you reload, or have a card that you pay off at the end of every month so you don't have to pay interest, called a charge card that doesn't charge you interest. Have those be your cards you use on the internet or on web-based services. Do not use a debit card because every time you use your card, it is registered on a database somewhere. Typically it's stored, even if you don't check the little box for them to store it. And that information is vulnerable to attacks from outsiders. And unfortunately, the more you use it, the more you increase your risk of that happening. That's one of the common sense things you can do, of course, to avoid hacking. Another thing is just be smart with your information. Make sure you know what websites you're submitting your information to before you do it. Look them up. Do a little bit of Google research before you finally turn over all your information. So I'm curious how all this is going to pan out in the long run, but I do believe, genuinely believe, don't worry, it's not going to be the end of the world. Like I said to somebody, they're like, you're just like Fox News. You're saying the world's going to come to end every episode. I'm never watching your show again. I was like, you didn't even watch it, dude. My show, most of the time I'm being sarcastic. But anyways, it's true, though. It's one of those things that I do take a little seriously because people should be made aware that companies aren't taking people's security as seriously as they should be right now. And I think that's going to change. Philcraft666, Mark of the Beast, what tech are you looking most forward to? Sorry about my spelling. What tech am I looking forward to the most? OLEDs. I just said it. And the Xbox 720 and the PlayStation 4. I'm very excited about those. But really, the OLEDs are my favorite. Like right now, that's my most exciting technology I'm excited about because the potential for it is so limitless. I cannot wait for it to be implemented into televisions and mobile device and laptops and phones and watches, and there's just so many cool things that are going to come out. Like, it's just, you guys are going to be blown away in the upcoming year or two. It's going to be awesome. Xbox Nissan says, next generation is Craig's channel. I'd like to think so. Tom Wall says, or just use one dedicated credit card for web purchases. Exactly. But make sure that credit card isn't tied directly into your, well, it can't be, it's a credit card. Just make sure you have something, don't have anything tied into your checking account that has credit uses as well. Just make sure you're avoiding that. Because remember, using a debit card Visa-wise at restaurants has even become vulnerable. They got these swipers now for smartphones. If you buy, like at a restaurant, a waiter can just swipe it and take all your card information, your name, and they can just type in your security PIN, your 3-digit PIN. That's what I mean. You really don't want to be using any kind of chargeable plastic that's tied directly into your checking accounts. I wouldn't recommend it. It's happened to me a number of times. I think in the past 5 years, I've had my information, my credit card used fraudulently 4 or 5 times. And it's not because I'm not smart. I'm very safe with the companies that I trust with my information were like Microsoft and the Xbox got hacked. SW Tour, they had my credit card information, and I didn't even tell them to save it, got hacked. Steam, by the way, Steam.com, yeah, Valve, that account got hacked. PayPal was a service I used, got hacked. And all 4 of these accounts, granted the companies took really good care of me when this happened, except for EA. I actually had to file a dispute with my credit card company because EA put me on hold for an hour and a half. Don't get me started on that. Granted, they took good care of me, but that's the whole point. These are not small, no-name companies. These are big, huge, massive companies. So it's something to really take into consideration. That this is happening all the time, and it's happening everywhere. So, Josh's tutorial says, Craig, why haven't you used these programs in your tutorials? ADW Cleaner, FSS, Hitman Pro, Rogue Killer, TDS Killer, Windows Offline Defender. Because I haven't had much of a need to use those services yet. Now, I am going to be moving heavily. I have been on, as the show, you guys know the show is on Monday and Thursday. I've been working on offline content Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I'm working on a backlog right now of actually having content coming out regularly. And I need to get back to the software tutorials and the screencasts, because that's a big part of the show and a lot of people are missing it. Andrew Spiker says, can't wait for NVIDIA to show off the new 700 series GFX. It'll be awesome to upgrade my 460 GTX. I agree, it'll be awesome. So Yahoo buys Tumblr. This is the last article of tonight, and we're going to have to close tonight's show. Yahoo buys Tumblr, or is now known as Yumbler. Yahoo buys Tumblr, and that's not really that interesting. They bought Tumblr because Tumblr was good. Yahoo has no real ties into anything really social media. Tumblr has been pretty reputable for as long as they've been there, and Yahoo has made direct claims that they're not going to do any kind of takeover. They're going to actually let Tumblr run even with the same CEO they've always ran with. I think this is just a smart move on Yahoo's part to finally start getting serious about social media, because they realize that social media is the future of search, and it's the future of maintaining a community or any kind of reasonable amount of people as followers. So I think that's pretty much one of the main reasons Yahoo has decided to finally jump into that and take it over as part of their strategy. So that's all there is for tonight, everybody. I'm going to sit here for a couple more seconds as I close, and I'm going to see if there's any more questions from the community. Remember, this is PCM Tech Talk Live. It's dedicated to you, the community. There will be content coming quickly every Monday now, actually, around 6, 7 o'clock p.m., and that content will be screencasts, unboxing, reviews, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube, PCMTechHelp.com/YouTube. Also, there's over 380 members at the community. If you haven't joined yet, 380 awesome members, PCMTechHelp.com/community. And there you can post any questions or concerns you might have, suggestions, questions, comments, compliments. My high school teacher would be proud of me. He said that all the time. You can post them there at the community page, PCMTechHelp.com/community. And I always appreciate everybody's time when they come out here. It's a good time, and I always enjoy it. And PCM Tech Talk Live is going to be going strong for a few more years, hopefully. Months, years, decades. I don't know. I'm young. I got plenty of time. And I appreciate all your time coming out here because it's just awesome talking about tech on a nightly basis. So let's see what you guys got going on here in the community, and we will roll things up. Xbox Nissan says, all the companies took good care of me except EA. It's very true. I was very disappointed. And this was for SW Tour, Star Wars The Old Republic. I called them. I did get somebody on the phone. I explained to them the situation. They said, I'm going to have to put you on hold. And they put me on hold. And I got to listen to Star Wars music, which is the only reason I lasted as long as I did on hold, by the way. Because I'm like, now George Lucas is going to sue me. But either way, that's the only reason I stuck around as long as I did. I'm like, I'm going to call my credit card company right now. And eventually I ended up calling American Express, who, by the way, is the single best company in the world, in my opinion, for handling fraudulent charges and any kind of issues you may have with your credit card. You do have to pay a yearly fee, though, usually for their cards, but totally worth it, especially on the business side. Very cool stuff. So that's all there is for the night show. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Remember, my name is Craig Chamberlin, and you're watching PCM Tech Talk Live, and I will see you guys on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern or at the community, pcmtechhelp.com/community.